Hey everybody, this is Grace, and I made two videos yesterday, and decided not to put them on this channel. But the first one I could just um, spread out over time, different videos, and the other one I made the video and then I watched that Dr. John Campbell. I really like him, as I've mentioned before, and he's basically said the same thing. It was about different ways to help the elderly, and then I saw it on one of the news networks, something about it, helping the elderly, but my thought was basically, and I don't know if there is something like this, but it was about them having somebody organizing something. I haven't heard this, but somebody organizing it to where elderly people could like maybe basically register that they need, that they're alone at home, because of this coronavirus pandemic, and whether there's just a single or two, whatever, elderly people, and have other people who are volunteers. All this be free for everybody. But have volunteers who call them, check up on them every day. That they know that they're not medical health care professionals, nothing like that. They're just volunteers, people. To call them and just see how they're doing and give them some, social interaction, and, that way that they know somebody's going to call them every day, for those who don't have that kind of, situation. And I was thinking, I used to be an activity director, a life enrichment director, and people like me, people who have already been through, I had to have certification, I still have, for the state, but I also had federal certification, and people like like that who could do it. They were already in some sense vetted. Some sense that it wouldn't be somebody who would try to take advantage of this situation. In calling elderly people and trying to get information, trying to get money or whatever from them. There would always be that kind of people, and then that's what was said, I think, on whatever news it was on. I just remember hearing it, but they weren't saying that about like I just said, but they said something about it could be that. But I do want to talk about that, people using this situation to basically get whatever they're looking for. Most often what I have seen, I have actually seen, is money. Okay, they're trying to get money. All right. Now, like I said, I've already seen this happening. People trying to get money, and I know I was thinking about making a whole video about this, and then I thought, wait a minute, that might help people who are that type to know what know that other people are doing it or whatever. But then I got to this point of saying, people who are going to do that to manipulate people during a time like this, a pandemic, or any time, it's not something new to their brain. I don't have any statistics behind that, but just my experience in life, people who are this way, they have been since they were young, and I always see them as the narcissistic histrionic blend, and lately more thinking of them instead of the dark triad, which is not my thought, but mine was the dramatic dark triad, but add in they're rather sadistic, and with being narcissistic and histrionic too. But in a way, this is what I've seen. But anyway, I thought, these are people who already do this. They're not out there looking for ways to. They already have been doing things like this that wouldn't even, be anything new to their brain, the way they think. But what about the people who don't? And they are the ones that these people, this type, tries to gather together to get money from. Okay. And basically the way that I've seen it, and this is not my first time in life to see something like this. I've done videos about people who use, remember the video I did not too long ago about, they use the tragic situation to try to get money off of people, to get items off of people, an iPad and all these things. And so it goes down that same kind of line. Like I said, it's not my first rodeo with this. My first time seeing this, but with the pandemic, we didn't have that before, so it just so disgusts me. But usually the thing is that these are people who have, it's not like it takes years for them to do this. Some of them, there's no set period of time of how long it takes them to do this whole thing. With some of them, it could have been that they've been doing the same thing for years. But overall, I think they can gather people together rather quickly, and it does depend on a lot of things, on how many people they gather, and how quickly, and how many people are against it and pointing it out, and so on and so forth. Because these are people who might do something like this and then they back off and back away, and then they start all over again. They wait for a period of time to when it settles down. Opposition settles down, and then they start all over again. And these processes, they can take a while. To take a short while. Or they can do it over a long period of time. But what I've seen more, something like, here is the situation right now. They know that they think, or at least they think they have to take advantage of it quickly. Some of them already have their, what some would call their flying monkeys. Some are victims. Some are, what some call sheeple. Okay, there's various types of people, and then there's the opposition, people who stand up and state what's going on and let people know, try to tell people, and they're often attacked by those, flying monkeys, as it's called narcissistic flying monkeys, and sometimes the others. So there's various types, all right, in this process. But if they can get enough people to come on board, say an individual one, they get somebody to come on board, or people to, But let me say more about the way I've seen them do this process. Okay, so as you're watching a YouTube video, it doesn't have to be on YouTube. It can be on anything. It can be even written. But let's just use this as an example. They may start off, here they are. They make a YouTube channel, or whatever social media they use that they do video, and they try to, often they start off as like very friendly and very nice, very. Showing a lot of good behaviors. Now, those of us who do videos on narcissism and this type, toxic people, we know that some call this love bombing, and they'll start off, like if it's an individual complimenting them, or complimenting in this kind of situation, maybe their audience, paying a lot of attention to their audience. And their audience may be something that really needs that attention. Like in this kind of thing, this pandemic, it would be people who are, say, sitting at home and they're socially isolated, that whether they're isolated or they're doing the, whatever it is, they're at home, and, social distancing, so they're not out and doing their, regular daily thing with other people. Like me, I'm socially isolated. Adam's office, the main person, sent emails out saying everybody that can work from home today. So he's at home, and he will be until further notice. And people like this, may need somebody from the outside if they don't have it. Just like when I started this video off, people who are elders, or it doesn't even have to be elders, who are at home alone. So they start off by being like friendly, and maybe even shy. Even they're pretending to be all this now. Remember, shy, friendly, really out there. Like they're there to help people. They're there. They're putting this out that they're there to be friends. They want to be real friendly with people, and they want to gather friends together. And it can zoom from there to where that they learn. They quickly learn what does their main audience, the people who are attracted to them, to their channel, to their whatever it is, group, whatever social media, they learn what are these people wanting, and they play with that. They play on that. I've said all these things before. I'm saying them again. Just in this situation, the pandemic, but they find out what is it the type that they want. Okay, I had a little interruption there, but yeah, they so where was I? In my train of thought here. Hopefully, I don't lose it. My train of thought, but yeah, you know, so they know that they get to really know what kind of audience is attracted to them, and they get to know which ones are opposed to them. They both. And the ones who are opposed, at some point during all this, if their mouths are loud enough, they will start to threaten them, and it can be kind of hidden, and they know how to do that. They know how to work that, but it's still a threat. That's not at all very wise on video, because it's on video, and there's your record of that. And people, you know, download or whatever these kinds of videos, so they have that. But wise is not really that part of them. Seriously, it's yeah. It's just how they work. They're wise to how to do this, though. Okay. So they really focus in on their viewers, and then their viewers often, you know, that attract other ones like them, and it just keeps growing and growing. And like some of them have learned, you know, with the people that some call sheeple, that they learn what kind of things that, well, they're copycats, okay, for one, and they learned what works for other people who are doing this, okay, that they learn, they're basically trying to get their audience too. And much of it at this point, when they start doing this, it goes from like just giving out little, I don't know, see, I don't like to say called conspiracy theories, but they give out little feelers on that. And if it gets well reception, they start getting bigger and bigger and bigger with those. And to where they're putting out stuff that is so much misinformation, so much disinformation, so much fear-mongering. Yeah, that's where I really wanted to go, was with this fear-mongering. And, you know, putting out things that, you know, and then acting as though that they're the ones who could be there to comfort them, or be there, you know, if it's some kind of like conspiracy, someone who they can bounce it off on, and, you know, they really grow this, and, you know, with their audience, and it just, you know, just spreads like a, yeah. Okay, now here's the thing. The person who's doing this, they might not have whatever, you know, might not think that same way that they're putting out there. Okay, you can think in terms of left or right. You know, they might be putting out their stuff that the left would listen to, you know, or stuff that mainly, quite often, what I have seen, I'm just saying what I have seen. Read the disclaimer in the description box below this video on YouTube. But they put out what the right is seeing. And, or, you know, they're independents, like I'm an independent. They can put out things that, you know, people question, like the conspiracies, as I mentioned. And they just they build on this and build on this to where, like I said, fear-mongering, and there's fear-mongering, and what their ultimate goal is, like I said, that they might not even truly think this way. They just know how to use those ways. And, you know, even they go low, all of this. This is really low life. That's not low class, that's low life with these things. That they will use the religion, you know, what I have seen, they use Christianity, act as though that they're Christians, and their behaviors, however, if you're someone who can see that, has discernment, some people have told me, and I agree with that, I have the gift of discernment, and I see it, I will see it. And now that, you know, I can see it, but too many others, that they're just getting a good feel out of somebody else is Christian, and they will build on that. Okay, the evildoers, that's what I call them. They will, pure evil. They will build on that, and yeah, they just go. They have no boundaries. They're There's no, I can't go that far, deeper than that. They have no boundaries with this. I mean, you won't see them possibly doing anything that's, well, I can't even say that, so. Okay, to get to this, what is their main goal? Money. I said that from the beginning. It's often money. And eventually they'll pull that out, even if it includes lying, saying things that are wrong. This is not the case. It's not going to be the case. But they will use that to get that money. Okay. They'll state something like there's some kind of urgency. Some of them we know, they call them e-beggars and stuff, and they just say, oh, come up with some calamity of their own. But with this pandemic, they can just use that and, say that they're starving, they're going to be starving because they this, that, whatever it is. And that they work it to where they get the money off of the people who are watching them. And at a time like this, to see something like this, it doesn't, like me, it just hurts my heart. It does hurt me to see that somebody's doing this, and there are people, innocent people, some of them are innocent people, who are falling for it. Okay? And some people who are, standing up to it, opposed to it, voicing that opposition, the way that they feel about it, they see it, are being threatened. Okay. Just goes and goes and goes on. But, okay, while this was going on, I said I did a different video. That second video wasn't totally on this. Some of it was. Okay, the video that I said I can spread out a little bit, since we were talking about that they used Christianity. They will go that far and use that to assist them. And and really what they do, what we all probably have seen this before, heard this before. The people that do that, like when you hear, say, how many of us have heard this in our lifetime that, as things have changed over mine, I'm 56, I've seen lots of changes, that, like, I think the example that a lot of people, I've heard people use is, like when you buy something that's in one of those packages that it's so hard to get it out of the package, and the reason for that is because people kept stealing whatever item that was. Well, that's, so we all pay for what those few people did. And that's the same thing with a similar thing with people who use Christianity to, okay, I just got to notice that person is live right now. Oh my goodness. But people who are doing this and they use that Christianity, they take away from those who are actual Christians, who actually have a good heart, and they're not out there to get money off of anybody, that they're, that this is who they are, they really are. But so many people start to doubt this of anybody, especially if you're a scientist. I'm a scientist and I'm a Christian, so don't believe all that stuff that people say. You can't be both. You can't. I've said that before in other videos. But they take away from it. They put that taint on it, and what I've been witnessing lately, it is difficult for me to hear anybody these days say that they're a Christian. At this point in my life, now when I was young, that was common, and I'm sure where other people live in other religions that I'm not sure, but I'm guessing they've seen some of this too. But back then you could talk about your religion, you could talk about your spiritual, your beliefs. I'm not going to say spiritual because these days people see spirituality and some people see that in a different way. So I'll say religion, or, and using Christianity. That, you could say that, and there wasn't all that, at least where I lived, at least when I was a child, what I saw. You were free to speak, say it. And as time went on, and all these years of my life, at the point, it seems now, you are shamed if you say anything about your religion. You are ridiculed, you are humiliated. Something negative could happen. Not by everybody, and not everybody has that, but it could. And it's worsened over my lifetime. And so people, too many people, when I say people, I don't mean, nothing in this video is one size fits all. Okay, but yeah, some people, you know, that was what my video was originally that I didn't make public. That some people may feel that they doubt when people say it because this type has used it to con, to get money out of people. And so they keep it quiet. So what about new people to it? Do they have any introduction to it? Or people, too many who are true Christians kept it down? Or just good people? If you don't want to say Christians or any kind of religion, what about people who are just good? You know, good, decent people. And what is good about them, others have taken and used, as you saw at the beginning of this whole process. They've used to do this, and yeah, you get my drift, right? So it's like that. Anybody who's good, decent, there will be so much out there instead about watch out for those people. Watch out for anybody who says that. So I'm saying this myself because I know what I say. What I'm saying, some would say, oh, I better watch it for anybody who's a good, decent person, who comes off friendly, who comes off this. No, that's the bad thing. That's the bad thing. They use it, but there are actually people who are that. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things a person really does need to learn. Watch the process. Watch what happens from there. If that person starts off good and decent and friendly, or a little shy, maybe, or real bubbly. They can be real bubbly people too. And then they process over time into having merchandise they're selling, something they're selling besides, like I've always said, their BS. You know, they are online, they have a PayPal, and they have a Patreon. You know, I don't have anything against any of that, but it's the purpose that they use these for is what I have a problem with, when they're purposely doing that. Okay, I didn't get to finish my video while I was outside. It got hot. And we have a little bit of sun shining through. Well, when I walked in, Adam was changing the channels on TV, and he ran across one that says that we have a Torcon of 5 today. Possible tornado. Yeah. So, but anyway, I don't know if that last clip actually finished, because when it cut itself off, I didn't check before I started this one, of course. But yeah, I have seen this happen, not just like I said, these are people using various types of situations to get people, get people out of money, money, items, whatever it is. They will find a way, often full of lies, deception, on and on. I'm not here to give anybody advice, but really, so. But I just want to mention, yeah, I've seen this, wow. They will use anything. It sure seems like it, anything. Anyway, I'm wrapping it up. Talk to you on another video.